This is the Infatuasian podcast, a show where we talk to and about Asian creators and things we love. This is Madison, and on today's show, we'll be talking with Catherine Liang, the current reigning Miss San Francisco.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the podcast. We are excited to be chatting with royalty tonight. We're talking to Miss San Francisco, Catherine Liang, and coming along, of course, is super producer Madison. Hey, Maddie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so tired, but as always, I'm looking forward to today's chat.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. So we are super excited to have Catherine Liang with us on the show today. As mentioned, she is the reigning Miss San Francisco, and we can't wait to get to know more about her. So let's introduce her. Hey, Catherine.
Hi, Curtis. Hi, Madison. Thank you guys so much for having me. Honestly, best way to spend a Saturday. So.
I know, right?
Yeah.
No, thanks so much for coming along. Hey, how about a little bit more about you? Where did you grow up?
I actually grew up pretty close to San Francisco. I am a born and raised Californian girl. Grew up in Sonoma County. So I'm a wine country girl.
Oh, really?
I am.
What brought your family up there? Was your parents work in the industry at all, or?
Everyone asks me that, but they are anything but winery people. They are actually electrical engineers.
Oh, okay.
Right in the heart of like all the vineyards. Than my parents.
Yeah. So you grew up it's kind of a smallish town feel, right, Sonoma?
It is. It's definitely very different from San Francisco, almost kind of suburban country-esque.
Yeah, like rural, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I loved it. I was a nature kid, always loved going barefoot out in the mud and playing and stuff. So that was definitely, I still love going back.
Yeah, so for folks that don't know, Sonoma is about a little less than an hour away from San Francisco. And did you come to the city a lot as a kid? Go to Chinatown or Fisherman's Wharf?
Oh my gosh, yes. I think Chinatown was actually my favorite spot to go to. Anytime we drive through the city, I would beg my parents to stop and get an egg tart. That was my always favorite go-to on the road snack. So I have a lot of fun memories on Geary Street and heart of Chinatown as well.
Yeah. That's kind of like, for us that grew up in the city, we tried to avoid those areas, It's kind of like, I didn't want to go to Chinatown. Yeah, too many tourists, and I don't know, this is Maddie's word, it's kind of stinky down there,
No, I've really come to appreciate the very touristy areas. I have fun playing tourist.
Yeah.
But, and Chinatown too, I've come to a total new appreciation. My mom grew up down there, and so we used to have to go there pretty often, and then we're like, oh, I gotta go to Chinatown. But now, as an adult, and the history and
Truly.
Like hundreds of years, I've just totally taken a new appreciation of it. So
definitely
very cool. So you said you were barefoot in the mud as a kid. What other hobbies and interests did you have growing up?
I think I was the notorious younger sibling. I have one older brother, Richard. He's 5 years older. And I, as a kid, wanted to do everything that my brother did, whether it was basketball, soccer, swimming. Swimming I actually stuck with. So I grew up as a ballerina, swimmer, ballroom dancer, and pianist. So kind of all over the spectrum, but just loved anything that required me to kind of move my body and, just dance to music or just be outdoors.
So do you have a little tomboy streak in you too? Like sweats in a t-shirt are just as comfortable as a gown?
You know how Facebook sometimes brings back memories from like a year ago or 10 years ago? There was one that popped up the other day and I was like, good Lord, are we the same people? But yes, I was very, very much a tomboy. I think my running outfit for a solid 3 years was jeans, Keds, and a sweatshirt. Yep.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. And so you went up going to college down in Southern California.
I did, as a Trojan.
All right, go Trojans.
One of my top schools.
Oh my gosh, no way. That's so exciting.
What did you end up studying there?
I chose international relations, global business, because I really like the idea of my college experience not just being, in the brick and mortar of Los Angeles, but really being global and giving me the opportunity to kind of jet set around the world. So
yeah, cool. And what's your heritage? Your folks are born in America, or do they immigrate here?
So my parents are both from mainland China, and my brother is Canadian. And our running joke in my family is that I'm the only one eligible to be president. So, yep.
There you go. It's meant to be, I guess. So you study international business and international relations, and now you're working here in the city?
I am, yes.
Okay, and I heard that you walk past our school sometimes.
I do. I work in FIDI as a private wealth analyst at Goldman Sachs.
Okay, all right. So a little different than your other job, which is Miss San Francisco.
Yes, ta-da!
How did you get into pageants? When did that start for you?
Oh, I guess kind of going back to the tomboyish topic we were talking about. As a 13-year-old, I cannot tell you, I did not know what makeup was. If you told me what eyeliner was, I probably would have put it like on my lips or something like that, thinking it was like lip liner. It was that bad. But also, I was a very, very shy kid. I used to have a petrifying fear of even picking up the phone, even if it was to talk with my friends. For some reason, I don't know, phone connection, I just felt so nervous about. So my parents really encouraged me to, we had a program called Miss Sonoma County's Outstanding Teen. And I think it was the third year that it was taking place. And they said, why don't we just go and watch the show, see what it's all about. If you don't like it, you don't have to try it. But, it could be something that you're interested in, because I was dancing and swimming and playing piano at the time. I went there, actually saw a girl, the current title holder at the time. I actually did Playhouse drama with her a couple years ago. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's Emily Mutt. I remember looking up to her like my entire childhood, and now seeing her stand on a stage with a crown and sash, like passing on her crown. It was super inspiring to see. So I was like, maybe I could do it too. So I went to the orientation, and thank goodness for my mom, because I was about to show up in jeans and a t-shirt, but thankfully she helped encourage me, gently nudging that maybe I should wear a dress. Was pretty shy. I sat in the back, but over the course of rehearsal, over I think 2 months, I really came to love all the girls that I quote unquote competed with, and they really did become sisters over time. So kind of really brought me out of my own shell.
And so were you necessarily thinking you would win, or were you just thinking this would just be a good chance to help me learn how to public speak and learn how to hold yourself in a higher regard, maybe?
I never thought, honestly, that I would win, because I was so awkward, lanky. I had really, really, when I say really bad swimmer tan, I had like raccoon eyes from the goggles and pretty much a swimsuit, like you could see the tan lines. But yeah, I just took it as an opportunity, as saying, well, I dance, I swim, I play piano. This is a great amalgamation. It's a program that really celebrates, someone who wants to pursue their academics, who also, has a passion for a talent, and who also really strives towards having a healthy, sustainable lifestyle. And so I thought, I see all upside, no downside. Why not give it a go? And if anything, I'll learn not to have like crippling stage fright. So, but ended up being a really wonderful surprise, being crowned Miss Sonoma County's Outstanding Teen.
Nice. I actually, I had a friend in college who competed for, I think it must have been Santa Clara County.
No way.
And yeah, this is a few decades ago, or a decade and a half ago. And she's like, oh, do you want to come to the thing? And I was like, Miss Santa Clara County? Like, I don't know. But I was blown away by, not just, of course, some people call it beauty pageants, but it's so much more than that, and it's just like the women that were competing were so smart. The woman who won, she wanted to be a pilot. And like you, she had gone to a really good college and so well-spoken and so smart. And just like the best of all things, right? Really well-rounded. And I was really blown away. And I was like, I was surprised that I guess I had never heard of this culture, the pageant culture, and that it was just a big deal, and that it was something that that people take very seriously and they prepare for years and years and years for these things?
Definitely. I think a lot of people think when they hear the word pageant as toddlers and tiaras or just
Right.
girls parading around on the stage in glittery gowns and like sky high crowns. But I think honestly, pageant is all encompassing. It's like what you said, it's the 364 days leading up to the pageant. All the prep in terms of, taking care of your body, practicing interview questions, really focusing on the like prioritizing your education or your job, connecting with our community. So all of these elements, I think, really help to shape a person. Definitely, you get the high glitzy glam of the night of the competition, but it's everything else that you have your year to kind of like prove why you deserve the crown or why you've earned it. So it's really inspiring to see what people do with it.
Yeah. What are the areas of evaluation that they look at?
Yeah, so from a teen program, it's a little bit different from a Miss, but as Miss San Francisco, I'm heading to Miss California soon. So one of our criteria is obviously interviews. You get a 10-minute private interview with a panel of judges, and they get to ask you any and all questions from your resume to current events or, your thoughts and opinions on things. And it's basically to see, can you articulate your thoughts clearly? Not so much if you have a right or wrong answer. And then you have a on-stage evening gown. So really seeing if a woman can capture an audience or a stage or a massive theater just from her presence. And I think like along with that comes confidence and being able to, show that you are elegant, sophisticated. We also have an on-stage question, which is almost like a continuation of the private interview, but where the public gets to see you answer one question. Slightly intimidating, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then obviously kind of evaluating on the back end your commitment to your academics or your job. Currently, obviously, I've graduated from college, so more on the job spectrum. And then also your commitment to your community service. And then they actually removed swimsuit 2 years ago from the Miss America program to kind of do a revamp of what Miss America really stands for.
Yeah. But there's the talent, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. How did I forget about talent? Big portion of it.
Yeah. What is your talent? Your piano?
I am. I'm a classically trained pianist. And so I will be playing Fantasy Impromptu by Chopin.
Amazing.
That's so fun.
Yeah. It's honestly one of my favorite songs and honestly still brings me to tears every time I hear it live played by someone. So I really hope that I'll be able to kind of like capture the essence. I know, Madison, we were talking earlier about how people take their own rendition on very iconic songs. So
yeah,
hopefully people will enjoy my 90-second rendition.
I'm sure people will.
Oh, thanks.
I'm just wondering though, how did you go from a reserved kid to, seemingly having such a high amount of poise and confidence? Because that's so hard.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I ever had a moment where it just clicked. But a lot of the times, all of that fear that I had was really wrapped up in my own head. I was kind of manifesting a situation that honestly wasn't reality. I was thinking, oh, people are going to judge me about the way I sound over the phone, or like, what if I stutter? What if I say, But at the end of the day, like the only person that really cares about that is yourself. And so I think in my time as Miss Sonoma County's Outstanding Teen, I did over 70 appearances, and that was sitting in a float, waving to thousands and thousands of people in a crowd at a parade, or speaking in front of a city hall or a Rotary Club. And I began to see those opportunities less as opportunities to fail, but more as opportunities to get people to know who Catherine is, and then also for me to kind of connect with people in the public that I never thought I would be able to have access to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. So we are the Infatuasian podcast. So I wanted to ask you, when you go to these pageants, are there quite a few Asian contestants, or are you often the only Asian contestant?
I've done a wide variety. So my first pageant, Miss Sonoma County's Outstanding Teen, I was actually one of the few Asians. But I also did a program called Distinguished Young Women, which happens in your junior year of high school. So Madison, maybe this could be you. But that one, I had the opportunity actually to represent California. I actually got crowned as the Distinguished Young Woman of California on my birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I got the opportunity to compete in the national level and along with all 50 representatives across the United States. So super inspiring. Also one of the fewer Asians. But then in college, I did Miss Los Angeles Chinatown. And this was the first time I had like an Asian Central pageant experience. And it was so different. And this also brought me to Miss Chinatown International in Hong Kong for the TVB production. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Bringing all the Miss Chinatowns from across the world. If you put it on the spectrum of, Asian participants in Miss Sonoma County to Miss Asia International, totally opposite. But,
right.
Really cool. But it's really cool to see more and more Asian representation now in the modern pageant era.
Yeah. And we have a Asian American Miss America, right?
Yes, we do. The first Korean American Miss America.
Very cool. All right. So what on the week of the pageant, now you said it's 364 days of preparation. And so you can go back further if you want, but on the week of the pageant, what's life like? Is it just crazy, hectic, or is it super organized? How does it go?
At the local level, it's pretty relaxed. I think, honestly, a lot of these programs are how much you want to put in is how much you get out. So the week leading up to it, I was still working. So during the day, I would go to work at 5 a.m., come back at 6, 7 p.m. And then at nighttime, it was piano practice and interview practice. So it very much is almost like double life. But I didn't want to kind of like put so much weight to it. I think I just was of the mentality that I'm going to go in, put my best effort, but be myself and not think too much about it, because I think one of the most valuable pieces of advice that I've ever been given is there are judges looking for you. If you try too hard to be something that they want to, they might not actually be able to find the real you. But so I thought, you know what? I'm just going to relax and go in there as Catherine. So
yeah. Did people at work know what you're doing, or you sneaking out with bags of stuff?
Oh my gosh. I think the office has somehow discovered my pageant identity. My coworkers, they're so funny. We had a holiday party and my friend, I think, put my name. We had like a fun facts bingo card, and one of my friends who knew put, is Miss San Francisco? And then I was like, we have a Miss
Who is
San
that?
Francisco? And then all my analyst class were like, you're Miss San Francisco? And I'm like, hi. But yeah, they're pretty supportive. Actually, one of my first appearances, my coworkers came to Macy's Union Square to come see me, and they even brought flowers. So that really touched my heart.
That's so sweet.
It was, yeah.
That's very cool. So what are the best parts about doing a pageant?
Oh gosh. I think everyone says this, but it really is the sisterhood, because, you go there with, I think, quote unquote, more selfish ambitions of kind of like proving yourself or wanting to win the title. But what you really get out of it is 35, 50 other girls who you can now be friends with and cheer them on in whatever endeavors they're on. I remember Distinguished Young Women. There are girls who are going to Cirque du Soleil. There was a girl who went and became a Radio City Rockette. Others who are lawyers, others who are going into the fashion industry. So it's just so cool to see, the girl you're standing next to on stage suddenly doing all of these amazing things. And also, I think the genuine connections that you get, I think sometimes pageantry has kind of a stiffness associated with it. But at the end of the day, we might be wearing crowns and sashes, but we're just like goofy teenagers or 20-something odd year olds. So we just want to be friends.
Yeah. And you've been through this very intense experience together, so no one else understands that except for other people who've done it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, very cool. Are there any downsides or any kind of things that are not so great about pageants?
In full transparency, I'd say yes. I think I feel very grateful having gone through a quote unquote American pageant system, and then also being able to contrast that with a more Asian twist on it.
Uh-huh.
And in Hong Kong, I don't think it's so much like a negative. It's just more so the culture. They're very forward with what they want. I think in America, it really is like Miss America can be unique year to year versus the Miss Chinatown International. It was they're looking for a spokesperson. And so it's kind of taking that time to recognize that, okay, maybe they're not so much looking for your personality, but what you can offer to them. So I think sometimes not taking the feedback so to heart or so personally, it's definitely helping you build a spine. But I think, honestly, I'm very grateful having gone through that because, you know, you go through life, everyone wants to be loved and liked, but the reality is that you will never be able to please everyone around you. So learning to accept that and just kind of move on and just staying true to yourself, I think I really learned that through that experience.
Sure. Yeah. We've heard stories about the K-pop industry or, for years, Canto pop industry too, of just kind of how they treat young women. And it could be pretty brutal, and the rewards are there, if you become an idol, but at the same time, getting there can be tough.
It's a long road, road to the crown.
Yeah. So I did a little research on Miss San Francisco. I knew we had a Miss San Francisco. I've never talked to one before, and I've never come close to one before. But I looked online. There's not a ton of information, but I think it goes back to the 1920s. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah.
So, fun fact, Madison, you may not know this show, but have you ever heard of the show I Dream of Jeannie?
Yeah, of course.
I
used to watch a lot of old shows on MeTV.
Oh, there you go.
And my dad, every time the show would come on, he would say, I used to watch that show when I was younger, and same with my mom. So yeah, I've grown up on like Brady Bunch and everything.
But yeah, Barbara Eden, who was Jeannie in that show, was Miss San Francisco in 1951.
That's so cool.
And Lincoln High School.
Oh, wow. Yeah. A double legacy.
Familiar.
Yeah, so she's cool. But yeah, so it goes back, and I did a little research on, just kind of looking at the names. I could be wrong, but it looked like the first Asian winner of Miss San Francisco was Carol Chen in 2006.
Yes, actually, very ironic story. I had the opportunity to walk in a fashion show for Fashion Fantasia, and she was actually one of the designers there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think she really captured the essence of being a forever Miss San Francisco, because when she walked in, everyone turned their heads and was like, who is she? And then after the fact, I looked her up. I was like, oh my goodness, serial entrepreneur, like ultimate boss babe, Miss San Francisco, and just so cool. Yeah.
She's still doing it. Something like 50 companies that she's started in 5 different countries.
I don't even know. Yep.
Yeah. So Carol Chen, 2006 Miss San Francisco, still doing it. Still a boss woman. Yeah, she's great. She is great. So when was Miss San Francisco in 2021? Was that? It's less than a year ago, obviously. But...
Yeah, it was 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. So not that long ago. Mm-hmm. And is it a 2-day thing or? It
was a 1-day thing, but we had about 2 months of weekly training. So we would go to rehearsal and, go through the choreography and the interview practice. So it was kind of nice to prep for that.
Madison, we got to go. I think what theater was it in? Was it the Palace of Fine Arts? Or?
We didn't actually get to do it in a theater this year because of pandemic. So we actually did it over Zoom, but we were in a dance studio, so it was a little bit more low key, but it was nice for family and friends who wanted to tune in from all across. So
anywhere in the world, yeah. We got to go, Madison. I think it'd be fun. You see Catherine hand off her crown.
Oh my gosh, please do come.
That'd be super fun, yeah.
We could go with Colleen and Sabrina. It could be a little get together.
Yeah.
Or Madison could compete, and then I could pass my crown to her.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
How many women compete in the Miss San Francisco competition? It's different every year, I'm sure. But...
Yeah. So because this year was a little bit smaller, we did it in combination with Miss Marin. And so total we had, I think, 6 girls compete. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's pretty intimate on the county level. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it ranges from city to city. If you go down to Los Angeles or Orange County, it is, I think, like 20 plus girls. Because I think, Los Angeles is very pageant central. I think Northern California is a little bit more hard because cities are a little bit more disparate. But
yeah. I think that was about when I went to the Santa Clara one. I think it was about 6 women. Yeah.
You went. Oh yeah. Okay. Wait.
Yeah,
I remember what you said earlier.
No, yeah, it was a friend from college, and she was like, "Oh, I'm competing in this thing. You want to come?" And a couple of us were like, "Sure, we'll come." And we were just kind of like, "What is this going to be like?" Because we've only seen it on TV. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was really cool. It was a cool little night, and some women have just totally different body types, different talents, and different just ethnicities. It was really cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now you're tall, right? I just looking at pictures, I can tell you're pretty tall.
I mean, with pageant heels, I think I am taller than a majority of the male population in San Francisco. But
where'd you get your height from? Does it come from one grandparent was super tall? Or?
I don't even know. I think for an Asian, my family is very tall. My brother is 6'3", my dad is 6 foot. Okay. I'm 5'8", so even when we go back to visit family, we always get the weirdest stares from people on the street. They're like, "You're not from here, are you?" I'm like, "Nope."
I'm honestly so jealous. I pull up to school in my platform boots.
And you're still only 5'3".
I know. It's not okay.
Well, I think it's easier as a short woman than a short guy, though. So I think you're okay, Maddie.
It's okay. My roommate is 5 feet, so.
Yeah, actually, it's true. You have some friends that are short, so that helps you.
Yes. We always look like, I think because I'm always hanging out with all my friends. So we put 2 people on the end. So we always joke it's like a Golden Gate Bridge, 2 pillars, and then everyone else in the
middle. They go to the back, Catherine. Every time it's time for a picture.
Vanish to the back.
Yeah. Madison, you want to ask a question?
I'm just okay. It's not on the document.
Yeah, do what you want.
But I just have to ask. I've always wondered, what's it like to stand on a float and wave to everybody?
Oh my goodness. It looks really glamorous, but let me tell you, half the time you're getting an ab workout because you're trying not to topple over. Because when they stop the car, it's so easy to like jolt and fall forward. But it honestly, it feels like euphoria in a way because you see thousands and thousands of people, and occasionally you'll catch someone's eye and you'll connect with them for 1 second, and then you can just see their face light up because, obviously, I got to be in this SF Chinatown Lunar New Year parade, and I think I was on a float with Miss Asia Global and a couple other local pageant girls, and I think we were known as the glitter train, so everyone was super excited to see all the girls in their beautiful cultural attire, and so just so as a float participant, so cool, but I can imagine also being in the audience as well, just seeing everything is also really cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm usually the person in the audience, so maybe one day I'll be a float participant.
Yes, you will. I'm manifesting it.
And so once you get crowned as Miss San Francisco, you have responsibilities and you have some things you want to try to accomplish. What is your initiative for your reign as Miss San Francisco?
Yeah, so in the Miss America organization, we have something called a social impact initiative, and mine is to be a champion of courage. And long story short, it kind of hones back to what we were talking about earlier of being a young teenager, not really having confidence in herself. But kind of an added layer to that, I went through a number of health challenges. I actually have something called Hashimoto's disease, or a non-functioning thyroid. And so being a young 17-year-old college girl, kind of going through a lot of body changes and not really understanding why her health was kind of just seeming like an obstacle, I again went through an episode of losing all of my confidence. And then pandemic actually helped me really reevaluate what was important. And for me, that was health as number one. And through that, I kind of, I learned to regain confidence through keeping myself accountable for my health, building my own personal brand from that, and then, taking a leap of faith and jumping back into the pageant world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh.
During quarantine, I started music again, and same as you, just going through some health issues and prioritizing that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It is crazy to see that health is, our number one priority. But for so many people, when life gets in the way, it's the last thing we ever think of. We sacrifice our sleep. We probably drink way too much coffee. But yeah, I think just at the end of the day, all you have really is your health. But it's so cool to see that, you took that time to refine your passion for music. So that's really inspiring.
Well, same with you. So.
And then what kind of demands do they put on your time? Like, oh, we're opening a new bank and we want Miss San Francisco there. Or what sorts of things do you need to do as an ambassador for San Francisco?
I actually thought when I first participated in Miss San Francisco, because at the time I had just started my job at Goldman, I thought Miss San Francisco is going to be very chill, maybe like 5, 6 bigger appearances in the entire year. The next minute, January comes around, New Year's, and I met so many incredible people. February was Lunar New Year galore. I think I had one weekend where in one day I had 5 different events going on.
Oh, wow.
So in the car, definitely like changing hair, changing makeup, changing. And then March somehow caught me by surprise as well. I think I could categorize it in one word as fashion. I got an opportunity to MC for an Italian brand called Evero Italia. Super cool. It was my first kind of entryway into the fashion world. I got to work with Colleen Quinn, who has become honestly like a fairy godmother. She has inspired me so much. She let me... Right?
That's the exact word
the exact word, yeah.
Yeah, she just like infuses you with so much like excitement. You're like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. And I think she was the one who really took a leap of faith and said, Catherine, you can be in the fashion world. Because I always thought, you had to be tall, super skinny, gorgeous. And I like to call myself a potato sometimes. I wear sweatpants around the house. But she let me, it was such an honor because all of her pieces are really like a commemoration of her heritage and her family history. So we got to do a Chinatown is Not Dead kind of project with Sabrina, actually.
I saw.
Yeah, we got to shoot kind of olden Shanghai, Hong Kong style cheap hall all across the city. And then we also got to do a shoot, 5 different dresses, 5 locations, all in one night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we got to shoot at Lion's Den, I think Mr. Jew's, and the Golden Gate Cookie Factory, the alleyway. It was just so incredible to be a part of. And then I got to walk in my first ever fashion show, and I was like, oh my gosh, what happened to the 13-year-old awkward child?
You're a high fashion model now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so all of these are really obviously kind of more on the glamorous side, but I think I also love the events where, simple things like bell ringing for the Salvation Army. It's just really cool to see people passing on the street who you've never met being so generous and donating money to such an incredible cause. So I think those things really keep you humble. And one of the things that I like to repeat to myself and something that my parents have taught me is, you want to give graciously and receive humbly. I think a lot of the times we think about, oh, what can I get out of a relationship? Or what can I get out of this friendship? But sometimes your relationship does not have to be transactional. I think it's honestly more important for your character development to kind of give unconditionally. So it was really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah. Amazing. And so you mentioned Miss California. When is that coming up?
Miss California is the week of June 20th through the 25th. So we actually just had our orientation last week. So very timely, but also the reality has sunk in. And sometimes I feel my brain buffering. I'm like, oh, it's actually happening.
And that's like all the counties in California. So what is that? How 30, 40? How many?
We have 35 girls for misses and I think 23 teens participating this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then the winner of that goes on to Miss America.
Miss America, yep.
Wow. Okay, so fingers crossed, Catherine.
Oh boy, no pressure, no pressure. I honestly, I just want to go there and have fun, but also I feel so grateful to have so many incredibly supportive friends and family. So I want to make everyone proud.
Yo, you already are. You already are. But and you have a great day job, so no pressure. You always have that to fall back on. Yeah. Very cool. Well, guess what? You have survived the hard questions.
Woo!
And now it is time for Madison's lightning round.
Alrighty.
Yes.
So these are short questions. You want to do the first one, Madison?
Okay. First lightning round question is, what's your favorite touristy thing to do in San Francisco?
Ooh, taking a coffee walk in the morning along the Marina Green and heading to Palace of Fine Arts.
Yeah.
Good choice.
That is a cool place. And it's almost prom season. You're going to see a lot of teenagers in their dresses. Yeah.
It's always so cool. I think a lot of people take their quinceañera photos. So
sure.
Yeah.
The pop of color. It's so cool to see.
Yeah, that's an iconic spot. All right, now you can take your time thinking because we'll edit out the thinking time. But Catherine, do you have a favorite movie that takes place in San Francisco?
Oh, okay. This is going to make my heart smile. But one of the first roommate bonding experiences that I had since moving into the city in July was watching Princess Diaries in Washington Square Park. Yep. And I think the first time I ever watched it, I never really comprehended that all of it was filmed in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But then rewatching it, I was like, I've been there. That's my neighborhood. Wait, I work really close by there. So it was so cool to see like hundreds of people just sitting on the park, grabbing pizza or like ice cream and then cheering along to the movie. So it was just really nostalgic.
And it's kind of an awkward teen to princess transformation story too.
I know.
So true.
I need a Paolo in my life.
Oh yeah, we all do. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's so great. I forgot it was set in San Francisco. I was going to say it's Doubtfire.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Also
Another
a good one.
All right, Maddie. Let's see. I don't know if this is a good choice or not, but okay, Maddie, try letter C and see what happens. If this doesn't work out, we can come up with something else.
Okay. Out of all of these foods, you can only choose one. So which one would it be?
Oh boy.
Dim sum, hot pot, or dumplings?
This is harder than most of my pageant interview questions. I'm such a big foodie, all of the above. I would say dim sum because you get so much variety and you always leave in the best food coma.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing.
Do you have a favorite spot in the city?
Well, I saw actually. Not that I'm stalking you, but I just saw that you went to Palette. Palette is very good.
It is so good. So good.
Yeah. But then Yangtze, have you ever been?
Yes.
Yeah, that just the setting there and the atrium, and that place is pretty legendary.
Yeah. What about you, Madison?
We don't really go to restaurants a lot, so I'm not really familiar with dim sum places. I just know my parents bring it home sometimes. So.
Honestly, that's the best because I think, I do love going to Palette and it's super beautiful and kind of like that high tea place. But honestly, my best memories of dim sum are just like sitting in your car like with the box and just like eating out of the box. Like that's like the best thing.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And then our last question is kind of a segment that we do at the end of the show where we ask you, our guest, who your infatuasian is. Infatuasian is anyone from the Asian community that you might admire from afar or someone you know. So Catherine Liang, who is your infatuasian?
Ooh, drum roll. I guess on the pageant train, one of the people who really inspired me to actually get into the whole pageant system was Crystal Lee. She was a Miss San Francisco's Outstanding Teen, Miss San Francisco, and was our Miss California. when I was a teen at that time.
Oh,
And
wow.
she, I think, is also representative of being a forever title holder. She captures the room. She is a businesswoman, but such a woman of her community. And I think she has really done immense things towards representing Asian culture at its finest. So I would choose Crystal Lee.
Sounds like a great choice. Yeah. Well, that does it for us. Do you have any questions for us?
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. But I guess, like, what kind of inspired you to start the Infatuasian podcast? Because I think this is such an incredible idea.
I don't even know the answer to this question.
You don't know the answer to this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to know.
Okay. Well, so, in the pandemic, things got a little rough for Asian Americans, and they're still rough. And I was just thinking that we needed some positive voices out there, and maybe some positive, just highlighting some great things that Asians are doing and cultural things that we all love, and that maybe people don't talk about dim sum on the podcast, on other people's podcasts, or other authors or musicians or other creators that aren't talked about that much. So I just wanted to do a little something. And the entryway to podcasting is pretty easy. You just need a microphone and
a Madison.
Internet. You need a Madison. Yeah. No, for sure the podcast is taking off since Madison joined. When was that? That was like December. Yeah. So yeah, we're just doing it for fun. We're not going to make any money off of this, but we've met some cool people already.
I'm very impressed with how far you've come with this, because how long has it been? Like a year, a bit?
Like June, yeah, almost a year.
That's crazy. It hasn't even been a year. Wow.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, and we're talking to Miss San Francisco.
Yeah.
No, but I found that a good amount of people, when I email them kind of out of the blue, and we're not huge. There are some much bigger podcasts than us. We're dinky. But I just let them know, hey, we're just going to talk, and, it's all positive. And a lot of people like yourself and authors, and we had an actor come on last night, so that was really fun.
Yeah.
So, there's just, people are willing to come on, and they believe in the cause of just getting our voices out there. And so that's it, and then we're just going to do it until Maddie graduates, I guess.
Have I revealed on the podcast how I got started?
I don't know if we've ever revealed that.
I forget.
I want to hear your side of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. All I remember is that coming back from break.
So we had been home for a year.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Madison took my class, so she's in my AP Bio class.
Oh, yeah. After Thanksgiving break, it was an easy participation point because I'm sort of shy. So I was like, I can do this one. He just asked, what did you do over the break? And so I raised my hand and I said, just like worked on some like fun music production projects. And he jokingly said, oh, you should come help with the podcast. And I was like, I mean, I'm down. Like, if you're serious about it, I would love to.
You go, girl.
Just get the experience. And so I think I don't know. I feel like you sort of like disregarded it. It was, joking. But then I followed up with an email and I was like, I'm like actually serious. I would love to help out if I could. And so just sort of escalated from there. I thought I was just going to have a tiny role, but then he was like, why don't you just sit in the podcast and just, you can just be an observer. I wasn't even planning on being a co-host at all because it's sort of hard for me to talk to people. But then, same with you. I've grown in the public speaking aspect. So then he's gotten some good feedback, luckily. And
like Madison gets more fan mail than I do. Like it's like 3-1 at least. My friends are like, or people who listen are like, oh, Madison's the best part of your show. Hands down.
That is so untrue, but I really appreciate it. Yeah. So
you do have a very like sunshine bubble personality, so I can totally see why.
That's so nice. You you resemble a Disney princess. Like that
Oh
was my
my
first
God.
impression of you. I was like, oh my God, she really is royalty.
Oh my goodness. Sleeping Beauty, or not Sleeping Beauty, Snow White.
hmm
I always feel like I'm sleepy. I'm notorious for falling asleep anywhere I go. So I'm the little dwarf.
Yeah.
So maybe that Disney princess, but yeah, but that's
Yeah.
so, and that's, I think that's so cool, especially now with, like you said, the prevalence of Asian hate. I think a lot of people have kind of lost that courage to speak up. And I think you guys have really captured the essence of providing a platform to influence with, a positive intention. And I think giving a lot of young creatives just an outlook and saying, I can do this. I don't have to have 10 million followers, but as long as I stay genuine to who I am, or, have a passion for singing, for dancing, or doing anything creative, there's a platform out there for me, and there are people who are out there for me. So it's really cool to see that kind of community come together. So
Yeah. Well,
It's
thanks for
all
your
Mr.
support.
Chin.
Well,
round of
no.
applause.
No, we wouldn't have this without our guests and without you.
It's been really cool to connect with people internationally, and just
Yeah.
a lot of people within cool industries that are high up there. It's just like the best part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, I can't wait to see this absolutely explode in the next half year. I'll be like, I was lucky enough to
Oh
meet
man,
them.
I don't think that's how podcasts work, but
You never know, never
you
know.
can always hope.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
my motto. You never know.
You never know. You never know.
Who knew you would be talking to Miss San Francisco, fashion
Exactly.
designers, Pixar actors,
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing authors?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Well, please let me know if there's anything I can ever do to kind of help get the word out there, because I think this is honestly the best thing ever. So
Yeah, of course. Yeah. 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 So let me wrap this up. So that does it for our episode. Thank you, Catherine, for coming along.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm smiling from my heart right now. So
What are your socials that we could share with everyone?
yeah, so I guess the most prominent one would be Instagram. So it's Catherine_Y_Liang, Liang. And then for my Miss San Francisco page, Miss San Francisco Co. And then you can also follow me on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, and come say hi. I will definitely want to, hear your story. So always love connecting with friends.
Amazing. We'll put all that in our show notes so you guys can follow Catherine. And thanks again, Madison, for always coming along with us.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, I know. On a Saturday night, hanging out with an old dude and royalty. So thank you. And then thank you, everyone out there, for listening. I hope you learned something. That's kind of one of our goals, is that you learn something with every show. And as mentioned, you can follow us at the Infatuasian Podcast on Facebook or Instagram. You can email us at infatuasianpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, follow us wherever you get your podcasts, on Spotify or Apple or Google, wherever you get your podcasts. And until we talk to you again, on behalf of Catherine, Maddie, and myself, we hope that you're all happy, healthy, and safe out there. Talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
And that's a wrap. Good job, everyone.
Oh my gosh, that was so much fun.
Is it? Yeah. I think we always have a good time, right, Maddie?
Yeah, for sure.
It's so cool.
It's just talking, and I think the pressure that we don't really do video, sometimes I'll do a screen grab,
Yeah.
but
Super casual
yeah,
and
I think
informal. We're just yeah.
Yeah. I think honestly it's more down to earth too, because sometimes the big podcasts, they can seem so intimidating and a little bit like you said, a little bit too stiff, but these ones are more like conversations. And
yeah,
I think that's the thing. I love listening to podcasts like that, where it's just banter. So
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
you're listening, you're eavesdropping.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
just besties in pajamas.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like we should all go get boba now.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop by school and be like, "Hey, are you guys here? Let's get boba."
That's so true.
Well, thanks for giving us your time. We'll let you
Cool.
go.
Yeah.
Best of luck with your Miss California journey.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It
Fingers
means
crossed.
a lot. So
Yeah.
you guys have an amazing night.
All right. Yeah, you
Thank you.
too.
Bye.
Good night.